So I'm going to go over this warm-up first in this video, you guys. So the first thing we need to do for expanding 2x minus 1 to the third power is we need to get the third row of Pascal's triangle, which is 1, 3, 3, 1. Then we're going to put our first term in the first set of parentheses. And our second term in the second set of parentheses. Then we're going to put our exponents in descending order. So 3, 2, 1, 0. And then we're going to go up here, 3, 2, 1, 0. Again, keeping in mind that when we do this, guys, these exponents should add up to 3 every time. 3 plus 0 is 3, 2 plus 1 is 3, okay? So now remember that when we do this, we're going to apply this 3 to both terms, okay? So this is going to be equal to 1, and then 2 to the third, x to the third, and then this is 1 again. So that's going to be 8x to the third. So right now we could cross out these two answers because we know they're not right. And then we're going to do 3 again, then do 2 squared and x squared, and then times a negative 1. So that's going to be 3 times 4 times negative 1. So that's going to be negative 12x squared. So even now, I can go ahead and say that's the answer, but let's finish the problem. So this is going to be 3 times 2 times x times negative, or no, positive 1, because that's a negative times a negative. So that's going to be 6x. And then our last term is, again, 1 times 1, because anything to the 0 power is 1. And then negative 3, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1 times another negative 1 is going to be negative 1. So this is going to be minus 1. So it just confirmed that A was our answer. Now, with number 2, there's a question like this, very much like this on the test. So when we do this question, we're going to, again, distribute this negative 3x to both terms, okay? So we're going to go negative 3x times 4x squared. So that's going to be negative 12x to the third, right? And then negative 3x times negative 1, negative times the negative is a positive, so that's going to be plus 3x. And then we've got minus 4x to the third. And remember, again, we're applying that minus to both things. So if we subtract the negative, we're actually going to add it, right? So this is going to be plus 2x. Now what we're looking for are like terms, right? So we can combine them, okay? So I notice I got an x to the third and an x to the third, so that's minus 16x to the third. So I know it's not that one and not that one. And then I've got these pairs of like terms as well, so that's going to be plus 5x. So our answer is right there, okay? Also want to go over the ticket out the door yesterday. So this is just another opportunity for us to see division, right? So we're going to do x to the third plus 6x squared minus 33x minus 62x plus 9. So my question always is, what do I need to multiply by this x to get this x? And that would be x squared, right? So then I get x to the third here, and x squared times 9 is plus 9x squared. Now recall, we're subtracting this whole term, right? So we're going to subtract both of these, so that's going to be minus 3x squared minus 33x. Now again, what do we have to multiply times this x right here, y'all, to get this? It would be negative 3x, right? So that's going to be negative 3x squared. Again, multiply that negative 3x times the negative 9, so that's going to be negative 27x. So again, we are going to go ahead and change the signs here because we're subtracting this. So that's going to give us negative 6x here, minus 62. So we are going to, again, look at what do we have to multiply by this, x, to get negative 6x, so that's a negative 6. So then we get negative 6x, and negative 6 times 9 is negative 54. And we are, again, changing the signs of these because we're subtracting this. So that's going to give us, what is that? 6, 7, 8, negative 8, right? So then this is going to be minus 8 over, remember, what we're dividing by, our divisor. Okay? So that's our answer right there. Tutoring. I guess this one's done, y'all. So we have tutoring tomorrow morning in my room. And we have tutoring tomorrow afternoon in Miss Reiner's room. Oh, and remember, we have a quiz day after tomorrow, y'all. So you guys will be getting a review tomorrow. So today is day 2 of polynomial long division. So I want to bring to you guys' attention that you can divide polynomials in the same way that you divide numbers, right? So we're going to make sure that the divisor and the dividend are in standard form. This is really important, guys, okay? If there's a term missing in the dividend under the house, put a 0 in its place. So notice here we have a 3, a 2. What are we missing? Yeah, we're missing an x to the first. Y'all see it right there. So if we don't have something when we're putting it in descending order, then we're going to put a 0 attached to that term. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this 6x to the 5th minus 42x to the 4th. And I notice right now that there's no x to the 3rd. So I'm going to say plus 0x to the 3rd plus x squared minus 11x plus 32. Okay, so now I'm going to divide that by x minus 7. So once again, my question is, what do I need to multiply by x to get 6x to the 5th? So it would be 6x to the 4th, right? So I'm going to multiply 6x to the 4th by both of these, so that gives me 6x to the 5th here, and negative 7 times 6x to the 4th is negative 42x to the 4th, right? So now we're going to subtract both of those. So I'm subtracting that and adding that because I'm changing the signs of both, and I get a 0 here. So I don't get anything there. So now I'm going to bring down the next term, which would have been 0x to the 3rd. Now, my question for you guys is, how many terms do I need to bring down? That's a 0. Okay, so obviously I can't divide anything into it, right? And I can't multiply anything to get 0, right? So what do I need to multiply? Or how many more terms do I need to bring down? Geez, I can't talk today. So let's bring down the x squared. And I'm going to bring down the negative 11x too, because this is a binomial. I want a binomial over here, okay? So now we're asking ourselves once again, what do we have to multiply by x to get x squared? And hopefully all of y'all can see just an x, right? So that would give me x squared here minus 7x. So once again, we're going to change the signs of both of these terms because we're going to subtract them. So that's going to give me negative 4x, and then I'm going to bring down that positive 32. And so, again, we're asking ourselves, what do we need to multiply by this x to get negative 4x? That would be minus 4, right? So it's going to be minus 4x, and we're multiplying that negative 4 times that negative 7. And negative times a negative, yes, is a positive, okay? So once again, we are subtracting this term, right? So we're going to add that, and we're going to subtract that, okay? So that's going to give us, what is that, 4? Yep, so this is going to be plus 4 over, again, our divisor, okay? So that's our answer for this one. All right, so go ahead and do this one and come back to me when you're done. Okay, so I notice once again when I'm looking at my terms that I'm missing an x to the 2nd. Do you guys see that? So I'm going to say x to the 4th minus 3x to the 3rd plus 0x squared minus 7x minus 14, and we're dividing that by x minus 4. Once again, I'm asking myself, what do I need to multiply by x to get x to the 4th? So that's an x to the 3rd. So I'm going to multiply the x to the 3rd by both terms. So that's going to give me negative 4x to the 3rd, right? Again, recalling that we are subtracting these terms, so I'm going to change the signs. So that's going to give me x to the 3rd here plus 0x squared, okay? So now, what do I need to multiply by x here to get x to the 3rd? That would be x to the 2nd, right? So I'm going to multiply both of these by x to the 2nd, and that's going to give me negative 4x to the 2nd there. Now, we can see why we need that space holder, right? And what would happen if we didn't put it there, y'all, is we would probably try to have combined negative 7x with the negative 4x. And that's a problem because they're not like terms, okay? So here again, we're going to change our signs. So now our x squareds, or our x to the 3rd, that's supposed to be an x to the 3rd, y'all, are going to go away. I don't know if that was or not, but so this is going to be 4x squared, and then we're going to bring down that negative 7x. So what do we multiply by x to get 4x squared? It would be 4x, right? So that's going to give us a 4x squared, and we're going to multiply 4x times negative 4. That's going to be negative 16x. Once again, we are changing the signs of everything so that we can subtract it. So that's going to give us 9x here minus 14. And so what do we have to multiply by x to get 9x? That would be plus 9, right? So we get 9x here, and 9 times negative 4 is negative 36. Recalling once again that we are subtracting this, so we're changing both signs, and that gives us 22 here, which is our remainder. So this is going to be plus 22 over x minus 4. So that's our answer for this one, guys. All right, so the next one, we're talking about checking our answers by multiplying the divisor by the quotient and then adding the remainder. So if your answer matches the dividend, then it's correct, okay? So we're going to use long division again. So here's my first question for y'all. Is there anything missing? I see x to the third, x to the second, x to the first. Nope, nothing's missing. Okay, so we're just going to write it here. X to the third plus 3x squared minus 6x minus 7. And then we're going to divide that by x plus 4. Okay, so once again, what do we have to multiply by x to get x to the third? That's x squared. So then we're going to multiply that x squared by both terms. So that's going to give us x to the third plus 4x squared, right? So once again, we're going to subtract both of these terms, right? So that's going to give us a negative x squared minus 6x. What do we have to multiply by x to get negative x squared? Right, a negative x, right? So we get negative x squared minus 4x. What are we doing with this term, y'all? Yep, we're subtracting it. So we're going to add both because we're going to change the signs of each. That's going to give us a negative 2x there minus 7, right? So then we ask ourselves again, what do we multiply by x to get negative 2x? So that's a minus 2, right? So we get negative 2x, and then negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Once again, we are changing the signs of these things, right? Because we're subtracting it. So that gives us a 1 there. So our remainder is a 1, right? So we're going to do plus 1 over x plus 4. Now, to check our answer, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this times this, and then we're going to add our remainder back in, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do this with the box method. So x squared and a minus x and a minus 2, and then an x and a 4, okay? If I could write, it would be great, y'all. I'm having a hard time today. All right, so x times x squared is x to the third. Negative x times x is negative x squared. This is going to be minus 2x. This is going to be 4x squared, and then negative 4x, and then negative 8. Okay, so you should be able to see some like terms here. I do. So I see some like terms right here, and I see some like terms right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and write our answer. So this is going to be x to the third, and then 4x squared minus x squared is 3x squared, right? And then a negative 4x and a negative 2x is negative 6x, and then we got a minus 8. Whoa, wait a minute. That's not the answer we have up here. It has a minus 7. Do y'all remember this up here? So yes, we have to add that. So when we add that, what number are we going to get right here? A negative 7. So yes, now it does check out, doesn't it? Okay? All right, so you guys go ahead and try this one and then come back to me when you're done, okay? So here's this one. Do we have anything missing? I say no. We got an x to the third, x to the second, x to the first, and no x, right? Okay, so there we go. We're good with that. We're dividing this one by x minus 6. So once again, what do we have to multiply by x to get x to the third? That would be x to the second, right? So x to the third minus 6x squared. We are going to change the signs of both of these because we're subtracting it. So it's going to give us 2x squared minus 5x, right? So now we're going to say, what do we have to multiply by x to get 2x squared? That would be plus 2x, right? So that would get us 2x squared minus 12x, yes? So once again, we're going to change these signs, right? So that's going to give us 7x minus 37. So what do we have to multiply by x to get 7x? 7. So that's 7x, and 7 times negative 6 is negative 42. Recalling again that we're subtracting this term. So that's, what is that, 3, 5? That's 5, y'all. So that's going to be plus 5 over x minus 6. So once again, we're going to multiply this times this to see if we got the right answer. So x squared, 2x, 7, and then x and minus 6. My hands are shaking, y'all. Or my board's wiggy, something, I don't know. No, I didn't even touch the board that time. So yeah, I guess my board's just a little sensitive today. I'm not even touching the board right now, y'all. Wow, okay. I don't know what to say about that. So this is x to the third. This is 2x squared, 7x, negative 6x squared, negative 12x, and then that's negative 42, right? Okay, so let's see if we can find our like terms again. Here and here, and here and here. Okay, so let's go ahead and write our answer. So we have x to the third, and then we got negative 6 plus 2, that would be negative 4x squared, right? Then we got negative 12 and 7, that would be negative 5x, and then this would be minus 42. But hey, oh, again, that's not negative 37, right? But remember this guy down here? So we're going to add 5 to it. Then we do get the negative 37. So yes, it does check out again, okay? All right, now this one. This is a little different, okay? So first of all, we are missing a term. Do y'all notice that? And we're missing a term in our divisor, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how to do this with both, okay? So I'm going to do x to the fourth minus 3x cubed. I'm missing an x squared. Do y'all notice that? A 0x squared. Then I'm going to do minus 7x minus 14. So this time, listen, we're going to do x squared plus 0x minus 4. This is going to help us make sure we don't miss anything, okay? So my first question is, what do I have to multiply by x squared to get x to the fourth? That would be x squared, right, y'all? So we're going to multiply all the terms. So we're going to do x squared times x squared. That's x to the fourth. X squared times 0 is what? That's just going to be 0, x to the third, right? And then we've got x squared times negative 4. So this is negative 4x squared, okay? So now we're going to subtract all this, if you guys recall. So subtract, add, because we're changing the signs, right? So now this is going to be negative 3x to the third plus 4x squared, okay? So now once again, we're asking ourselves, what do we have to multiply by? X squared to get negative 3x to the third. So that's negative 3x, right? So that's negative 3x to the third. And then we've got, again, plus a 0x squared. And then we've got negative 4 times negative 3x is positive 12x, right? Now look, we got to bring down this other term because we got nothing above that, just like it, right? So we're going to bring down the negative 7x. So if you hadn't brought it down before, you would bring it down now. That's why I didn't bring it down before, because I'm trying to show you all that, okay? So this is a minus and this is a minus, right? So that's going to be what? So 4x squared minus 19x. Okay, so what do I have to multiply by? X squared over here to get 4x squared. Yes, a 4. So we're going to do that. That's going to give us 4x squared. Whoa, my pen's going nuts, y'all. Let me try that again. So 4x squared. And then, again, we got this negative 14 out here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it down, y'all, because I think I'm going to need it. So then I'm doing 4 times 0x, so that's going to be minus 0, or actually plus 0x, right? And then 4 times negative 4 is going to be minus 16. Recalling again that we're changing all these signs, right? So that's going to be a minus, that's going to be a minus, not that it matters, and that's going to be a plus, okay? So these go away, and we get negative 19x. Ooh, what is that? Negative 14 plus this, that's plus 2, right? So that's going to be, I'm just trying to see if that was my right remainder. Yeah, so this is plus a negative 19x plus 2 over my x squared minus 4. Now watch how I'm going to do this one, okay? So this time I'm going to take our original, this one, and I'm going to multiply it times this one. Y'all got me? So I'm going to do x squared minus 3x and a 4, and I'm going to do x squared and a negative 4 down here, okay? So we're going to use our box method. I know it's an ugly box, y'all. I get it. My pen is going nuts again. I don't know what's going up with this pen down here at this corner, y'all. Something's crazy. So this is x to the fourth minus 3x to the third, 4x squared, negative 4x squared. Wow, well, I just saw 4x squared and negative 4x squared. Those guys are going to cancel each other out. This is going to be 12x, and that's going to be negative 16. Okay, so I noticed right here, boom, boom. Everything else is a unique term. Do y'all notice that? So I'm going to get x to the fourth minus 3x to the third plus 12x minus 16. But we had a remainder. Do y'all remember that? So to check our answer, we have to add back, or in this case, maybe kind of subtract the remainder, right? So we're going to take this guy right here that we had left, or we can look at it up here too. It's up here too, right? Right there. And we're going to then combine that. So I got a minus 19x here and a plus 2, right? So when I do that, I'm going to get x to the fourth minus 3x cubed minus what? Yep, 7x. And then minus 14. Now, yep, that bad boy looks just like our original, doesn't it? Okay, there we go. All right, so here's the U-try. You guys go ahead and do it and come back to me when you're done. So here we go. I don't think we're missing any terms this time, are we? So we got an x to the third, we got a plus 3x squared, and we got a, minus x, and a minus 3. And we're going to do x squared. Over here I am, though. X squared plus 0x plus 1, right? So what do I have to multiply by? X squared to get x to the third. Just an x, right? So I'm going to get x to the third plus 0x squared plus x, right? Again, remember, we're subtracting everything here. So we're going to change all these terms. So this is going to be 3x squared minus, whoops, I don't know what happened there, y'all. This pen is just going crazy. Minus 2x. And I'm going to bring down this negative 3, y'all, because I have a trinomial, right? So what do I have to multiply by x squared to get 3x squared? A 3, right? So this is going to be plus 3. So this is going to be 3x squared minus 0x plus 3, right? So here we go. Now, once again, we're going to subtract all this stuff or change the signs. In this case, we got negative 2x minus 6, right? So, excuse me. So our remainder here is going to be plus negative 2x minus 6 over our x squared plus 1. Okay, so now once again, I'm going to multiply the x squared and the 1 times the x and the 3. So this is x to the third, this is x, this is 3x squared, and this is 3. All unique terms, y'all notice that? Okay, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit, give myself some room. So I got x to the third plus 3x squared plus x plus 3. Now I'm going to take that remainder and I'm going to bring it back into the mix right here. So I got negative 2x minus 6. So then what is my answer going to be, guys? So it's going to be x to the third plus 3x squared minus x minus 3. Does that check out? Sure looks like it to me. So, yep, that was our answer. All right, so here's our last one, our extension. So, do we have all our terms? Yes. Okay, so you guys could do this one and then come back to me. I'm just going to write the problem right here. And then I'm going to divide it by a trinomial. Check that out. Okay, so what do I have to multiply by x squared to get x to the third? Just an x, right? So we're going to multiply all these by x, right? So that's x to the third. This is minus 2x squared minus 3x, right? So once again, we're changing all our signs. Yes, minus, plus, plus. So that's going to give us 5x squared. And this is going to give us minus 10x. And we're going to bring down that negative 15, right? So what do we have to multiply by x squared to get 5x squared? A plus 5, right? So we get 5x squared minus 10x minus 15. What do we do to all those? Change all the signs, and we get a 0 remainder. Whew, like that, don't y'all? So to check it, again, what would we do? We would do x and 5 here, and we would do x squared and a minus 2x. Sorry about that, y'all. And a minus 3, and use our box again. So this is x to the third minus 2x squared minus 3x, 5x squared minus 10x, and that's minus 15, right? See our like terms, guys? Here and here, and here and here. So that gives us x to the third. 5 minus 2 is 3, right? So plus 3x squared. Negative 10 and negative 3 is negative 13x minus 15. Checks out.